For some reason, happiness or even just like peace and a sense of kind of fulfillment or contentment with my life always feels so far off. And, I've been through different periods of my life where I've ate exactly what I needed to, gone to bed at the same time, woke up at the same time. And even though I was doing that, I wasn't really happy. And it seems to me that no matter what kind of state I am, I always have this weird sense of dissatisfaction. And it could be possible that maybe I have like a mental illness or something that I should see a psychiatrist or something about. But I'm not sure if that's going to be beneficial to be putting a label on behavior or whatever. Because, even if I get tested for something and then I have a pill that can kind of mitigate whatever I'm feeling and make me feel better and able to act better, I'm kind of resistant because then there comes the question that why am I feeling this way? And, it's kind of like this natural response, like, why is it happening? And just to find something that kind of numbs that off, not numbs it off, but gets rid of that kind of feeling. What's going to be the consequence of that? Like, every kind of prescription medication that you take has some sort of effect because it's boosting one thing, but then when it boosts one thing, something else is going to have to go down. It's like Newton's law, for everything, for every action, there's an equal and an opposite reaction. So that's why I haven't pursued that, but it may be something that I have to look into in the future. Because it's just frustrating to not really want to exist, but then not have the courage to end it, because then there's the social impact on family and friends. And it's like, well, if I'm going to make other people's lives worse and they're going to, suffer because of that, then why should I snuff out my suffering to cause more suffering on other people? And also, just the idea of people at my funeral just really kind of puts me off, because I feel like not many people really know me, and I feel like a funeral progression, when people die, they only say the good things about them, and oh, they died too soon, and they tell all these good stories and that, and to me, it's just kind of lying. Like, if someone was like a prick or they had this kind of addiction problem, then it's something that you should kind of say, because it's like, oh, this person could be good in this time, but they were such a bastard in this kind of way. Maybe that's just my blunt way of thinking it, though I wouldn't really talk to people like that in person, which is odd as well. And I guess this then ties into like the social aspect and just feeling disconnected from so many people. And I feel like the online world really doesn't help. Like, it's too convenient just to be able to waste so much time, like waste days in front of my computer. Like, sure, I have a broken wrist and I can't really do much of the things that I normally would be doing, like social engagement by playing soccer and working out and actually going to work. But even then, when I was doing those things, I was not happy at all, because I felt like they were social obligations and they weren't things that I was necessarily happy with or content with for some reason. And I think that's partially because I felt like, for example, in soccer, I wasn't performing the way I wanted to. And to be honest, I wasn't really motivated to train as much as I usually was. And I don't know, it just didn't feel natural to me. Like, when I compare that to doing martial arts training just on and off through the years, that felt a lot more natural and easier for me to do for some reason. Whether that's just my body type or what I prefer doing, which is maybe something that I should look into. But even then, having that social connection made a little bit of a difference, but I'd still come home and feel terrible and then spend that time, on my laptop or that's a computer, not a laptop, just like whether it's playing video games, watching movies or something. because I just didn't feel happy with my life, and felt like I was wasting all this energy doing things for other people. I thought that if I had more time to myself like I do now, that I'd be spending on things that mean more to me. And sure, I'm able to do a bit more music. I'm able to do these videos more, which I wasn't doing before because I was feeling so bad and I didn't have any time or energy to do it. But I'm still wasting most of my time. I don't know why I'm getting up like at weird times or staying up late to watch soccer games when I guess it's kind of nice to watch the games live, especially since I have no obligations. But it's kind of messing with my sleep pattern. But then even when I think about when I'm getting perfect sleep, it helps a little bit, but it doesn't help a lot, if I'm to be honest. And also with the social connection thing, just feeling isolated. I feel like so many times I feel really disconnected from people because I don't really have a good connection with a lot of people. Like I can talk to them, but then I don't get anything from it. I don't feel anything from it. I'm like, oh, these people I don't know what we're talking about. It's not really engaging, and I just want to kind of be alone, continue in my thoughts and just be alone for this kind of time, most of the time with the people that I interact with around here currently. Because I don't really have any friends in this area that I can see on a regular basis. And even then, just going out, like seeing people kind of makes some difference. But then I have like this weird social anxiety. Like yesterday, when I went to go out, I'd been procrastinating just going out on a walk because I did not want to see people. I just didn't want to see anyone because I'm in a small town, so lots of people know each other. And just the thought of seeing someone going when I go out on a walk just deterred me enough to not even want to go out on a walk. And I could have worked around that, like, oh, why don't you walk later at night, or why don't you walk in the morning, for example, like when there's not many people around. And I just haven't done that. It's very easy to be isolated in this kind of day and age, and maybe it's just how I'm interpreting and seeing things at the moment, but it seems like a lot of men my age are a lot more cut off from social interactions and feeling a sense of connection and purpose. And I don't really know what the reason for that is. And a lot of people try to find the solution in discipline and doing things, in waking up early, in following a protocol and having a routine and those kind of things. And I mean, that's helped me in the past. Like the low stim protocol that I did at the start of the year helped me out. And I want to rewatch that to see if I was happy, or to see how I was actually feeling in that time. But it's just missing something, and I don't know what it is. It's like this vague thing that's just there and causing this discomfort. And maybe it's just the desire for something more that, once you start chasing desires, you realize that you can never really fulfill them in the way that you want. Like I've heard about the Michael Phelps story about how he felt suicidal after he won one of his races just because he felt so empty after it. And I remember a few years back when I had to do a music performance for a vet at school, a vet Cert 3, and feeling so anxious and excited to do that, but then afterwards just feeling super empty and just like, well, was that it? It's all over. It went so fast and it's all gone. Like, what's next? Like, I think why I talk about these videos is because a lot of people don't want to talk about these things, and some people don't even experience this kind of level of discomfort or this experience of life, there's very few people that do, I think, because you can just see in the way they talk, in the way that they look, in the way that they act, that they haven't felt that kind of suffering, that kind of sense of loneliness and disconnect and meaninglessness in their life. And that's kind of why I feel like I have to do these videos. I guess that's kind of my meaning in a way, or my purpose or whatever. Although I wouldn't say it really is, because it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like me just gas bagging to a camera, and I'm not even sure why I'm doing it half the time. But I do know that, as soon as things go bad, I have this bad habit of impatience where I want things to be over, where I want to be on to the next thing, and I want to see results really fast. Like, I was looking back on some of my older videos and I realized, like, oh, I had built quite a bit of muscle, but I was completely oblivious to that because I was so caught up in chasing stuff and just in this cycle of doing stuff that I hadn't realized how far I had come in my progress towards that. And I guess that was also because I had so many things on my plate. I was overstressing myself with work and all these other kind of things at that period of time. But as I was saying, I can be quite impatient. And when you're in that feeling of bad, you want it to go away. You want something to fix it. You're seeking for answers. And I'm not sure if that's the way to actually deal with it, because even if you try to make these kind of band-aid fixes over it, you try and fix your sleep schedule, you fix your diet, sure, that can make you feel better, and over time that can help your happiness, which is something that I should be working on, because I know that it's going to be better for you, and like working on some hobbies and just having the morning productive. I know that I feel better when I do that. But I don't know, when I'm feeling bad and my experience of life feels kind of hopeless because I am trying and trying and fighting against this corporal kind of version of myself that is very heavy and doesn't really want to be around. It doesn't see the point to things, constantly saying, why do we even bother with this? And then when that's the kind of thought that you get into, you can just do whatever you want. And then that basically just ends up to binge gaming or binge watching shows and just eating whatever I want, doing whatever I want, sleeping whenever I want, which just doesn't feel good. And that's why I started to do this video, because it's important. I think it's important to address that when it happens, and to talk about it, because then it makes it a bit more external, And then if I have the bonus of sharing that and then reaching other people as well, it can be kind of helpful. I think it could be. But I don't know, there's just this weird sense of just disconnect and meaninglessness, and maybe that's just part of the human experience and something that I have to deal with, but I feel like for me it's been such a prevalent part of my life since I could remember as a kid, just having this kind of sense of feeling so small in the world and feeling so uncertain and unsure of what I'm going to do and why are we doing things, and just questioning things and trying to look for answers and never coming up with one or finding one that felt right or that resonated right. Sure, I had moments of kind of epiphanies where I felt like I had understood something and I kind of got excited, but then that would fade because it was like this short spark of excitement that would just slowly kind of whittle away. It wasn't really lasting. And I'm not really sure what's the answer for this, but thinking intuitively, I'm thinking that it's going to be something like having some sort of sense of community or belonging in a sense of people, and having some sort of routine or discipline to stick to in a healthy way that doesn't require you to constantly be chasing something as the end, like having the process of it being more important than the end goal of it, and the community of it more important. And I'm not sure how we get that in this society, because we're obligated to work. We're becoming more and more chronically online, and I don't think that's really helping. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.